What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Hey, everybody. What is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Today is Financial Fridays. Yay! I know you're probably saying, oh, he doesn't have his little hat. Hold on. Let me get this on. Okay. There we go. Financial Fridays. Is that better? All right. And I've got a question for you. Are you an entrepreneur? We're going to discuss that here on Financial Fridays on the Plan Your Greatness channel.
Oh, that's smooth. It's Tennessee whiskey.
Hey, we are back. We are here on Financial Fridays on the Plan Your Greatness channel. And we are asking the question, are you a true entrepreneur? And this is Prison Week. And the question we have been tackling this whole week is, how did I do it? Because again, for the past 20 years, since May 31st, 1999, I've been asked that question. How did I do it? And why is there significance of that date? Now, if you've been watching my channel this whole week and probably some of the other days, you will know that I served time here in the state of Arizona, Department of Corrections. I served prison time, all right, for armed robbery. And so that was such a unique experience. And as you go back and you can go look at state statistics, you can look at national statistics, by the Bureau of Justice, I think it's BJS, Bureau of Justice and Statistics, or something like that, Bureau of Labor and Statistics, whatever that site is, it will tell you that the recidivism rate is through the roof. So how is it that in 20 years, I've not been back in the system since I got out, I've become a father, a college graduate, a business owner, author, motivational speaker, and some other stuff. You know, so I've been able to basically live a second life. So with that said, back to the question, are you an entrepreneur? Okay. Are you? Because there's a lot of people out there that's throwing that name around. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur and all that other stuff. Or they even going so far as say, well, I'm a business owner. And there is a clear distinction as far as my understanding of a business owner. Business is that you have created a system and you have actually people that are working the business for you. And you come in, you check on it every now and then, and you see how things are going. To me, that's a business owner. Entrepreneur is somebody, to me, that's in it, doing it. And the business in most cases does not run unless that person is actually doing it. That's kind of my interpretation. And I will say I am an entrepreneur. I have not created a system yet for the two businesses that I run. They are predicated on my work in them, my tax business and my transportation company. So here's what's going on with that. I'm going to share with you, because when people say they want to be entrepreneurs, I will tell you that I had no desire whatsoever to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, I didn't. I was very comfortable because I was raised in a very blue collar, 8 to 5 corporate household because my dad worked in a factory. So I saw myself as trading the hours for money. So that's what I grew up with. But here's what was going on. When I had my two children, their mom and I, we went our separate ways. And because of that, I started having to pay child support. Now, that's a whole nother video on my feelings on child support, and especially under these circumstances. But we won't talk about that now. What we're going to focus on is the fact that I was working as basically an academic advisor, but I was wanting to know, was there any tax relief for people who were paying their child support? So I combed through the Internal Revenue Tax Code, trying to learn as much as I can about garnishments and child support and everything. And what I found out was that there was no relief. So I was basically stuck. But because I did that, because I was seeking to answer that question, I became very knowledgeable about it, to the point where I was giving advice while I was working. And this one particular girl asked me, she said, hey, have you ever done taxes? Now, I had never done a tax return other than myself, other than mine. And so, but someone had told me, someone had dropped this wise bit of wisdom on me. And they said, if you don't know something, say yes and then go figure it out. So I told her, yeah, I do taxes. Again, never did a tax return other than myself. So I go to the store and I buy this TurboTax box where you can do 5 tax returns, submit them to the IRS. So I did hers, set it up to where she was going to get a direct deposit or check. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we waited until she got her refund. And when she got her refund, she met me at work and said, hey, thank you very much. She paid me $100. That's what I charged her. So she went to the ATM, got her 20s out, bam, 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 bam. Gave me the 5 20s, and I looked at my hand and I was like, man, can I turn this into a business? And so that year I only did hers. The next year I did 3. I did hers, her mom, and her sister. And then the next year after that, I did hers, her mom's, her sister, and then there were 4 referrals somewhere because I wasn't doing very much marketing or anything. So first year 1, second year 3, third year 7. The next year, I don't even remember what the numbers was, but it just went through the roof as far as how many I was doing. So I was starting to do a lot of tax returns. And so it was starting to cut into my job duties to the point where I got fired from a job. And so as I was walking out with the box in my hand full of everything that I, had left on my desk, what was interesting is that I always held on to this 1 box rule that I had when I was locked up in prison. I saw so many guys locked up and they had stuff all over the place. So if they had to go from one cell to the next for whatever reason, because a lot of times in prison, they would do something and they would shift people around because they just wanted things to be peaceful. And so I said, if they ever start shifting me around, I'm going to be able to just wipe everything off my desk or whatever. Everything's going to be able to fit in one of those paper boxes, for printer paper. The 500 reams, 10 reams of 500 pieces, 5,000 reams of paper, whatever it is, that's all my stuff was going to fit in one box. And so that's what I was walking out of the corporate office with, the 1 box. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I said, okay, so you got a choice here. You can either go back in the corporate space, you could find a job very easily, or you could try to make a go of this tax business that you've been building. All right. So I took a leap of faith. I said, you know what? I'm tired of going in these corporate offices. I'm tired of being told when to go to lunch, when to do this, when to do that. If my son and daughter are sick or whatever, I can't take days off, or if I do, they just make you feel bad about doing anything that's just normal. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna give this a shot. And so at that point, I start grinding. I now am in the space of an entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, I hated it. And so here I am, I'm building this tax business and building this tax business to where it started to sustain itself. Now, here's what's interesting, what happened in the midst of building that one business. Okay, now remember, I asked a question. That's what started the whole thing. I asked a question to try to resolve a tax issue with me. Man, I was getting raked over the coals and not getting any relief. And so I asked that question. Now, in the midst of me asking that question, I'm building this tax business. Now, what happened as I was doing that, I put these magnets on the side of my car advertising my tax business. So now I'm fully in entrepreneurial mode. I'm trying to create clients. Well, what happened is a guy came to me and saw the magnet on my car and said, hey, you do taxes? I said, yes, I do. Gave him a business card. And it was probably in, June of, or July, whatever it was. Now, I think it was the fall. I think it was somewhere in around October of the year. But then the following year, when I'm doing tax season, I get a call. Hey, man, I still need you to do my taxes. Great. Well, I had to go back a few years to clean up some stuff because he was having some child support issues. He needed to get his money in order and to show the court this is how much he's making. So he had to have some tax documents to prove what his income was. What I noticed was he owned a transportation company. And I said, wow, all you have is a sedan and a limo, but you make this amount of money. I said, hey, brother, do you mind showing me this business? He was very reluctant, but I kept pressing. Hey, man, show me the business. I really like to know what this business. And I'm sure it was a combination. One, he did not want to take the time. And two, why would you put somebody else in your business industry that could be very competitive? So he said, all right, brother, if you really want to know this business, then you can drive for me. And I almost cussed him out. I was like, man, brother, I ain't driving for you. I said, if anything, I'm going to be sitting in the back seat of the car. But light bulb went on my head. Again, I asked the question. I said, show me the business. Okay. And so he said, best thing you can do is drive. And I said, okay, well, then I'll take that. So I drove for him for 2 years. I learned all the ins and outs of the business. I learned the hot spots. I learned the airport and all the little things where you know, the particular car to use, where to go get it properly maintenance, how to pay attention, all these little things over 2 years. And then I went on my own. And so again, I'm explaining to you as far as how did I do it? I actually asked questions. How did I become an entrepreneur? How did I become a business owner? It's because I asked questions. So again, in the 20 years that I've been out of prison, I have consistently asked question after question after question. I listen, I learn, I apply. And so that is the core of how I have done it since I've gotten out. Again, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I understand the essence of what makes somebody an entrepreneur. They're constantly asking questions. They're constantly trying to get better. And I see as you get further down the road when you're an entrepreneur, you don't wait for stuff to happen to answer things. You start answering and start trying to anticipate things as they're coming along. And so you can answer those questions and catch things before they become big issues. And so again, if you are actually looking at that and you want to be an entrepreneur, and now you know, as far as part of my formula, that as far as what has helped me is I've always asked questions, you know, as I've moved along. Now you can see if you are on that path and you want to be successful and you want to know how I have done it since I've gotten out. You ask questions, you listen, you ask questions, but then after that, you listen, you learn, and then you apply. And if you're doing that, you are definitely on your path to planning your greatness. All right. So here is the call to action here on Financial Fridays as we close out this week, Prison Week on Financial Fridays on the Plan Your Greatness channel. My call to action to you is there's two of them. First and foremost, ask yourself a question that you want answered in yourself every single day. One question per day. What it is you want to know about yourself. Ask yourself a question every single day about yourself, trying to learn a little bit more about yourself, like who you are, what do you like, what are your dislikes, what are your goals, where do you want to be in a year, in 2 years. These are all the general questions that you're going to ask somebody if you want to get to know them. How about you ask these questions, one question a day of yourself? And the other one is, I challenge you to look at something that you want to tackle as far as being an entrepreneur. And I say, start doing it. Don't try to plan or anything like that. Just say, hey, I want to do this. I think people told you, oh, you're a good cook. Well, then try to open up, just start cooking your food and selling it in small portions or whatever. You can do that because I see people doing that on Facebook and on Instagram all the time. So whatever it is, if you have a passion on fixing cars, well, then how about just offering your services? Hey, I work on cars. Hey, you can hire me and whatever, and you get the parts, I'll fix them or whatever. Start doing that. You don't need a whole website and Facebook. You just need to let people know what you're doing. And I challenge you to start doing that, get after it. And then later on, maybe we'll see you 10, 20 years down the road. You might have a shop or you might have a storefront, to sell your food. All right. So make sure you are hitting the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated when we go live, because we're going to start doing that pretty soon. One of these days a week. I look like it's going to probably be Sunday that I'm going to be attempting to go live for at least like an hour and just, talk to fans and figure out how to maybe take some phone calls and just get out there and get more active in it. But as I say, and I close out every day, plan your greatness. You know why? Yeah. Because no one else will. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed this week. Again, plan your greatness. Do great things. I will see you guys all next week. Take care.
No one said, hey, what's up? No one asked.